to 23.17 billion naira. The company did not declare a bonus or propose a dividend payout. But at the Nigerian equities market, the stock gained 0.13% to end Tuesday's trade at 46 naira. We're going to be talking more about Honeywell later on in the program, but let's continue with our main focus of today, which is the Central Bank of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee's decision to retain the monetary policy rate at 12%, its implications for the economy. And of course, we're talking about the economy. That's so many aspects of it. And I have an economist with me here on the program, Gabriel Udahosa, and we'll be looking at that in the last couple of minutes. Thank you so much for sticking around.
Thank you.
Well, just before we went on break, we talked about the implication of increasing the cash reserve requirement to 50%. Now, we also know that one of the reasons why the Central Bank of Nigeria made the decision that it did was because of the exchange rate, the Naira exchange rate. And now we know that this has been under pressure in the last couple of weeks. Do you think the Central Bank of Nigeria has done enough or is doing enough to ensure the stability of the Naira?
Well, the fact that we still have it in the range, even with all the pressure, is just the sign that it's doing enough. In the last 2-3 months, our exports of oil has been going down very steadily, and non-oil exports have not risen to match that. So our total exports have been going down, and imports remain about the same month on month or rise occasionally. So far they've done enough, but they also know they need to do more. And that's why they're beginning to show the signs of what they need to do by looking at the cash reserve ratio for public deposits. They're obviously going to look at other measures they have to take. And in the final analysis, if they don't feel satisfied with all the other efforts, they might have to adjust the range between which the exchange rate currently moves. With 150 to 160, they might slightly move that. Because again, they want to maintain stability over time. That stability means that from time to time you might move a bit. Like we were between 145, 150, and now we are between 150, 160. If we can sustain that, then if the CBN feels that the measures taken now can sustain that, we'll probably remain there. If not, we might move slightly to maybe 155, 165, or something like that. But the pressures are not temporary. These pressures are permanent. The oil economy is changing. The structure of the oil economy worldwide is changing. The supply-demand balance is changing permanently. A lot more players are coming to the market, selling oil all around Nigeria now. The people who demand oil are taking less of our oil.
Yes, results from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that our export trade actually dropped in the first quarter, because of, decline in exports as against imports. So yes, it's something we're worried about.
Yes, and so you see that again goes back to this reliance on monetary policy. The real solution is to rapidly grow non-oil exports from other sectors of the economy, from Nollywood to solid minerals to IT, business process outsourcing. A country like India does several billions of dollars export from business processing. Those are the things that should happen, rather than everyone looking at CBN, that's the inflation rate, foreign exchange rate. CBN should do some magic to bring them down. The real solutions lie outside CBN.
Yeah, because Dr. Kingsley Moghalu actually, pointed to the fact that a lot of people are attaching so much importance on the monetary policies and totally forgetting about the fiscal policy. But is that something, that the CBN should be looking at? Can they really achieve much without looking at a complementary fiscal policy?
They don't have control over fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is in the hand of the federal executive, the federal government, the Minister of Finance, and the National Assembly. So the issue is how much support you get to what CBN is doing. And that's why you find the CBN governor and the deputy governors are all saying the same thing about the rest of the economy, that don't just talk about monetary policy. talk about fiscal policy, how much support do we give for exports to all the various sectors of the economy that can export? How much are we supporting the entertainment industry, the tourism, information and communication technology? How much are we supporting that sector to grow? How much are we supporting even sports as an export industry? There's so much you can do to grow exports and earn foreign exchange outside oil that you must do. It's now must do because oil is going down. Before, it was just a choice. We should diversify our economy, have other sectors to support oil. But right now, oil is going down. It will continue to go down steadily. So we now have to work very hard and very fast to grow those other sectors of the economy that will generate jobs in Nigeria, create revenue for federal, state, and local governments, and also earn foreign exchange.
Well, the central bank governor, during his presentation, expressed concern over inflationary outlook for the rest of the year. Do you share this view?
Well, again, the facts are there. In fact, these facts, why some observers of the economy are concerned is that these facts are not secrets. They are not hidden in the research department of the central bank. These facts are available to the National Assembly. They are available to our politicians. They have research people who work with them, and they have these facts. It's a matter of the politicians, particularly the National and State Assemblies, accepting these facts, that oil is going down, that we are not doing enough to support the real economy. The National and State Assemblies should be saying, how much money are we going to put aside to support manufacturing, to support entertainment industry, to support tourism, so that these sectors can generate jobs and foreign exchange. If they don't do that, and you just keep calling on the CBN to reduce interest rate, reduce foreign exchange rate, I mean, it's not going to happen.
Now, looking at the situation, as you've pointed out, the real sector is what drives any economy, and Nigeria is no different. Do you think a situation like this that we are in right now, would further escalate interest rates? I mean, as in the rate at which banks will be lending to customers?
Well, the only way you avoid that is to ensure that, one, you support the efforts to create a more productive economy. Because if the economy is not producing and we continue to import, importers will need cash. They will need naira to buy dollars. So they will ask for more money from the banks, and it's a matter of supply and demand. The bank says, look, this is the only money we can lend now. CBN has taken out 50% of our public deposits. So we have less money to lend. If you want to have it, if 20 people wants to take money and we can only give to 5, you indirectly will have to bid for it, and interest rates will have to go up, officially or by other fees and charges that they can put on it. So the only way you can ensure that interest rates and inflation do not really grow beyond what we are seeing now is to invest heavily in the real economy, as the Deputy Governor said. If power supply improves, if our railway lines become more efficient, the cost of business will go down, inflation will go down. Because of the telecom industry improvements, banks are no more spending money on two-way radios, they're no more spending money on special communication. So the cost of doing business as far as telecom is concerned has gone down. If that happens in power, and all companies in Nigeria do not need to buy generators, or even if they have generators, they don't need to buy diesel, the cost of doing business will come down dramatically. Inflation will come down. And if inflation comes down, then you begin to look at interest rates coming down, because the manufacturers will need less money to produce. Part of the money they borrow from the banks is to buy generators and buy diesel. So if those major costs of doing business come down, you will see serious improvements.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us this morning on the show. It's been really very insightful. I've been speaking with an economist, Gabriel Idahosa, and we've been looking at the implications for the economy now that the Central Bank of Nigeria has, without any surprise, left the monetary policy rate unchanged at 12% for the 11th time, but has increased its cash reserve requirement to 50%. for public deposits. Now, all of this will actually see how it plays out in the market. But just before we go on the program,